Hi and welcome to our next junior relations video. We're going to show you how to draw straight line graphs using this formula of y equal to mx plus c without having to set up a table. So every straight line graph can be written in this form, y equal to mx plus c. It's going to become a very useful and important formula as you progress with mathematics. Now let's chat about this number m. M represents the gradient. The gradient is a number that represents how steep the line is. Remember from our last couple of videos, we've talked about negative gradients, zero gradients, positive gradients, and undefined gradients. Right, so that's our gradient. Gradient is the number that is multiplied by the x. So the number c is called our y-intercept. The y-intercept is where the graph crosses over the y-axis. Okay, so let's use these two bits of knowledge to see if we can draw this straight line graph and not set up a table. So here's our Cartesian plane. Now we were told that the number at the end, the plus c, in this example it's a minus c, is our y-intercept. So we're going to start with -4. And the y-intercept is where the graph crosses over the y-axis. So we know the graph crosses down here at -4. Now, let's come back to this number m. M is the number that's multiplied by x. M represents the gradient, and we know the gradient is rise over run. So the number 2 can be written as 2 over 1 to turn it into a fraction. So, going to our point on the graph where we cross over the y-axis at -4, we know we can rise up 2 squares and run along 1 square. We can rise up 2, run along, we can keep going. Rise up 2, run along 1, rise up 2, run along 1. And now we can draw in our graph as such. And this is what the graph of y equal to 2x minus 4 will look like. Right, let's try it again. Here's another example. Use the rule y is equal to -2 over 5x plus 2. We're going to draw a straight line graph. Okay, so let's start at the y-intercept, the value of c. In this example, c is plus 2. So that tells us that the graph passes through the y-axis at positive 2. So that's why I've drawn a dot here at plus 2. Now let's turn our attention to the gradient m. It is -2 over 5. Now we know gradients rise over run, which means it rises down 2 and across 5. So we're going to go down 2 from our y-intercept, down 2 and across 5. Now we can do it in both directions, down 2 and across 5. And we can draw in our straight line graph here. This is what the straight line graph of y equal to -2 over 5x plus 2 would look like. All right, let's wrap up with example 3, a little tricky one to finish with. We're going to use the rule y is equal to 3 minus 2x to draw a straight line graph. Well, everybody straight away suddenly thinks, the y-intercept c is this number here. But in this example, I've switched them around. I've put the c value first and the mx second, and I'm allowed to do that. The m is the value times by the x. That gives it away that this -2 is not c, it's m. So let's go to c, which is actually 3, and it's positive 3. I didn't write a negative, so it must be positive. So c is equal to 3. So let's put a 3 on the graph on the y-axis. That's the y-intercept. Now let's turn our attention to the gradient m. It's -2. Now m is -2. That means we can write it as -2 over 1 as a fraction, which means from the y-intercept we rise down 2 squares and across 1, down 2 and across 1, down 2 and across 1, and now we can draw in our graph here. And this is what the graph of y equal to 3 minus 2x would look like. All right, hey, thanks very much for watching.